We at the top, if I see it, I cop it. All this guap, if I see it, I cop it. Got some new drip, if I see it, I cop it. Saw that new whip, if I see it, I cop it. Need a new grip, if I see it, I cop it. Lots of shrimp, if I see it, I cop it. I'm that kid, if I see it, I cop it. House off the grid, if I see it, I cop it. We at the top, if I see it, I cop it. All of this guap, if I see it, I cop it. Got some new drip, if I see it, I cop it. Saw that new whip, if I see it, I cop it. Need a new grip, if I see it, I cop it. Lots of shrimp, if I see it, I cop it. I'm that kid, if I see it, I cop it. House off the grid, if I see it, I cop it.
Yeah, if I see it, I cop it. Running through stores, if I see it, I rock it. Yeah, girl, if you see it, I got it. Run it up more, we need all the profit. 100 racks back up in summer 16. Spent that whole bag on a whole summer dream. Life's complicated, no Avril Lavigne. Copped a new condo to blow off some steam. All these rappers just rapping in triplets. Pushing that product, just got a new shipment. Pushing that road 50 over the limit. Cushion that blow, I don't get why they with it. We at the top and we throwing the game. All of these peasants will know of my name. All of these blessings, we staying the same. The drip is fluorescent, I'm going insane. Royal genetics all up in my veins. Back me a real one and gave her my name. All of these issues, but no one to blame. Praying that God will just show me the way. Changing the game, got the source code, and I'm off road, and my horses go skirt. One in the same day, of course, no, we in first, yo, all my niggas we were. Faking the fame, but we all know, cause the source told all you niggas just learn. Talking the same, y'all pseudo, and it's true though, y'all just popping them perks. Taking the stage, got a few shows, let the crew know it's a class in the dirt. I am the king and it's my throne, y'all are kind though, they keep calling me Zerx.
We at the top, if I see it, I cop it. All this guap, if I see it, I cop it. Got some new drip, if I see it, I cop it. Saw that new whip, if I see it, I cop it. Need a new grip, if I see it, I cop it. Lots of shrimp, if I see it, I cop it. I'm that kid, if I see it, I cop it.
Yo, what up, Beaches?
We at the top, if I see it, I cop it. All of this guap, if I see it, I cop it. Got some new drip, if I see it, I cop it. Saw that new whip, if I see it, I cop it. Need a new grip, if I see it, I cop it. Lots of shrimp, if I see it, I cop it. I'm that kid, if I see it, I cop it.
Well, it's only 9 o'clock where I'm at, so should be getting bed soon, though.
Despite all your witchcraft and your riffraff, this is my gift and you wish that you had it. Tonight gonna bump trap, gonna thump that drums in the back and you know that we have it. Girls like where the one at, need to run back, flee from these niggas, you know that they savage. They acting macho like they Randy Savage. They call me Pablo the King is at it.
Palito. Ay, Dios mío, biches. Making sick fucking gains, making sick fucking gains.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling.
The bacon is sizzling.
Welcome to the Daily Swole.
To the Daily Swole. Testing. Test. Testing. A test equals. Welcome everyone to episode 1067 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on? Yas Booshes, welcome to 1067 of the sleaze. We're in for a little late night Papa Swolio, just to rock you to sleep. Ladies, pinch your nips, and guys, well, you may as well pinch your nips too. It's your boy Papa Swolio here to rock you to sleep. Make sure those gains grow. Don't be staying up too late now. Don't be staying up too late. If it's really late, if you're like in England and it's 3 a.m, go to bed. Go to fucking sleep, unless you're doing like third shift or some psycho shit with your job. Go to bed. Get your sleep on. Catch me tomorrow. Catch me on the flip. Because I'll be here tomorrow. Of course. What's up, IG? We're alive on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. And of course, remember, just a reminder, as always, you can subscribe on any little app and things that you get your ear holes fucked with the Swole. You can check it out on Apple Podcasts. You can check it out on Google, on Spotify. We are everywhere. So wherever you like to listen to your audio, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, check it out. You can catch up on some earlier Swoles. You got to catch up. If it's your first time, make sure you say holla. Say holla. Say hara. Gains, bro. How's your nutrition? My nutrition is great. I'm on fucking point. I eat my food. And I move on with my day. It's amazing if you're eating, if you're eating the right things and you're consistent, you're doing what you should be doing. You're just regular. It's not complicated. Most people just feel so, oh my God, what should I do? What should I eat? You mean I have to eat this tomorrow too? And the next day too? It's simple to eat real food and to be consistent with it. It's super fucking easy. It's the people around you that are going to make it a challenge. You just don't eat what they eat. You eat what you should be eating. You do your thing. Everyone's going to try to cut corners and get away with shit that they're going to pay for on the back end. This is life, all right? Don't forget that you do have the second half that you need to be pretty healthy unless you want someone to wipe your ass for you, okay? This is what we're doing now. We are doing things now so we aren't old, crippled fucks when we're older, okay? Technology is not going to save you. You are still going to have someone wipe your ass and push you around, and you don't want that to happen. So make sure you are eating good shit. It's very simple. Just like with your training. So today's episode, Train Your Planes, I'll explain what that means in a moment, but it's a good start to the week because there's a lot of overcomplication. And a lot of times you come to old Papa, you come to Papa Swole, and we have the conversation about whether it's nutrition, whether it's training, whatever it is, we have the conversation about simplifying your approach, simplifying your food, simplifying your training, making sure that you're doing the basics right, because oftentimes the questions that you ask and the things that you're concerned about are things that you have no business being concerned about. They are good questions, but you should not be even asking the questions because the answer is not going to help you move forward. A lot of times you're locking yourself up with these questions about topics that have nothing to do with whether or not you're making progress with your training, whether or not you are going to make progress with your fitness. And that comes down to nutrition, but also with physical training. And this is where social media has been a detriment in fitness. And I do want to explain myself here because, of course, it's been a positive, but it's also been a negative in the sense of what people perceive to be the best way to train themselves, what people perceive that they need to do in order to get a physique or build muscle or lose fat, what you perceive, because all you see is a highlight reel. When you look at someone's Instagram or Facebook, you see a highlight reel. You see the best of the best. You see all these pictures where they're always smiling. You see you see workouts. You see they look good and they're showing you this. Every once in a while they might show you, oh, I'm not always wearing makeup or I'm not always feeling great. And if you try to be as transparent as possible, but it's still whatever the person, company, even mine, it's what I want to post. So whatever I want to post is going to be biased to an extent. And what anyone posts is going to be biased because there's a human being making and curating that page. So I don't care if it's a person, I don't care if it's a brand, it's going to be biased towards whoever is or whomever is curating that page, whoever is in control of that page. Simple. So you're seeing a highlight reel. You're seeing the best of the best. You're seeing the best exercise, the best pumps. You're seeing the best clothing, the best makeup. You're seeing the best smile and the best background and the vacations, right? So when it comes to people deciding what training program to do or what style of training, what do you see the most of? What do you see the most of? Think about this. What do you see the most of when it comes to training online? What do you see the most of? You are going to see, by default, you are going to see whatever gets the most views. You are going to see whatever gets the most shares. You are going to see whatever trends the most. So it tends to skew towards ridiculous shit. It tends to skew towards people doing fucking battle ropes and then jumping over a box and then throwing a kettlebell down the street and chasing it and then doing 20 burpees and then fucking running up a hill and then doing... You tend to see the ridiculous fucking shit that's random exercise. And I'm not judging it saying you can't do workouts like that, but this is what you see because it tends to get more, there's more action. When you're in the gym doing, a curl or you're doing a press, it might not be quite as sexy. And that's one of the reasons why I don't post tons of stuff, oh, this is me working out. This is me working out. It's kind of like, look, this is me wiping my butt. This is me showering. This is me lifting. Hey, look at me lifting. I don't reinvent the wheel when I train. I don't reinvent the wheel. And that is where a lot of people fall short. Because when you go to the gym, A lot of you, even if you don't have a business online, you're taking videos, you're taking selfies, you're having someone film yourself. Everyone's trying to one-up other people and one-up themselves. So you're always trying to do something exciting. Let me be clear with this, fam. It's not exciting to go to the gym. It's not exciting to put in the work to get the results. It's a lot of, guess what? Repetitions. That's why it's called reps. It's the same shit over fucking and over again for years. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking shit. You want results? You are going to expose your body to the same fucking shit for years, so you force adaptation. That is how you build a physique. That's it. That's it, Robin. Pick it up and put it down. Shocker that it fucking works. Here's the problem with it, though. Here's the problem with doing standard bodybuilding type training. The reason why bodybuilding works is because it builds your body, and everyone wants a physique. If you're here right now, or you're listening to this, and you want to look better, it's bodybuilding. You want to look better? You want to do bodybuilding. You want to build your body. And what does that mean? It doesn't mean get massively huge. You can have physique bodybuilding. You can have bikini. It's all bodybuilding. You know what you're doing? You're building your body, literally. I'm not talking about taking steroids and looking like a fucking cartoon character. I'm talking about building your body. That means developing your muscles evenly so they're proportionate. I'm talking about working the smaller muscles, the weaker muscles. Leave no muscle behind, right? Leave no muscle behind. You're working everything evenly. You're working the front. You're working the back. You're working inside. You're working outside. Bodybuilding, for me, is also psychological. It's your time management. It's your mental approach. It's your nutrition. It's everything. You're building your body and you're carving out your existence in your body to be healthy. I take bodybuilding from more of a health standpoint. I don't care so much about physique completely at the expense of health. A lot of pro bodybuilding, of course, you're throwing health by the wayside to look a certain way. It's important for me to have a physique, but with the focus on the health first. And that's damn straight, Kayla. If you do random shit, you don't get that. If you do random shit, you're not going to get amazing bodybuilding results. Calisthenics can build your body. Of course it can, but will it like a bodybuilder? No, it will not. Yeah, you can build your body, but here's the conversation of today. All right. People want to do things that everyone loves to do. Hey, everyone wants to see a muscle up. Everyone sees people doing flags and human flags and all this circus shit from people that never train their legs. Shocker that you can do 30 fucking pull-ups when you skip leg day all the time. All right. All these calisthenics guys wear pants all the time, or they got skinny little fucking stick legs because they never do squats. They just play around on a bar at the playground all the time. Okay. Doesn't make it less impressive, but people chronically, you see any of these gymnasts or these bar athletes, they're internally rotated. They're fucking rounded. They're lopsided with their physiques. It's not a good look. It's not a good physical look. And it's a very one-sided type of training, but that is their interest, and that's also totally fine. But when it comes to bodybuilding and what people call bro splits and all this stupid shit that people knock around, I really hate that whole bro split stuff. Oh, that's a bro split. Oh, you should do total body. You should do that. I hate when people demonize something that just straight up fucking works. It straight up fucking works. People have been doing chest and back or chest and tries or chest and buys or leg day. Like, if you're against splitting up body parts, are you against leg day? Come on, it's fucking leg day. Arms, you're telling me you can't isolate your arms? Okay. You're telling me you shouldn't isolate exercise ever? Get the fuck out of here. You're never going to provide enough overload for it to get damaged and grow progressively over time. You eventually need to increase the volume. You can increase the frequency and you can play with that, but you eventually have to do more unless you're going to spend 8 hours in the gym and blow your fucking hormones out of the water. So when it comes to your training, there's something that we're going to talk about today that should be addressed. So I'm not against a bodybuilding split. I think it's great. You know why? Because it fucking works, and I've done it my entire life, and it works. You want to build a physique, you want to build strength, you want to build balance, you want to have a great physique, it fucking works if you do it right. And there's a reason why people are asking me about my shoulders, about my muscles. There's a reason why I look balanced, because I'm obsessed with keeping that balance, with training the muscles that I can't see, with balancing out my posture so I don't look like a fucking mongoloid, with training my calves as hard as any other body and bringing up my weaker body parts to be my stronger body parts, right? It's all about the balance. But what you're missing with a lot of bodybuilding and strength type training is a lot of sagittal plane stuff. You're getting a lot of one-dimensional type training. And this is where it could be a problem. That is why today's episode is called Train Your Planes. Excuse me. And train your planes obviously doesn't mean an airplane. It means your planes of motion. So there's 3 different ways generally that the body can move. It can move front to back, sagittal plane, side to side, which is the frontal plane, or it can rotate in a horizontal, aka the transverse plane. So there's 3 ways your body can move. And if you're just lifting, you're doing a curl, you're doing a press, you're doing a squat, you're doing a lunge, you're working in a sagittal plane. And most injuries take place when you twist, when you rotate. You'll throw your back out, you throw your shoulder out, you turn quickly and you hurt your neck. So it's important to work these other types of planes of motion. And that's where these types of stability workouts come in. That's where yoga and mobility training comes in. That's why multiplanar movement. And for those of you that are in Swolenormous X, that's where the awareness workouts come in. That foundation, those deloading weeks that you need to add in conjunction with your yoga, with your strength training to provide you with a program that progresses and then deloads, allowing you to progress longer over the long term with minimal risk of injury, less risk of injury, minimizing your risk of injury. Because that's one of the problems. If you're just crushing the weights, you're just lifting, fucking lifting, put more on the bar, bro, just lifting and lifting and lifting. What's going to happen? You are going to have imbalances. You're going to get too tight. You're not going to be releasing that tension. You're just going to keep on building that up until something fucking pops because you're not working in different planes of motion. You are not balancing out the joints. You're just benching all the time or squatting all the time. And that's where the yoga and the mobility comes into play because it will balance that out. It will get your body into multiplanar movement. You don't necessarily need to be doing multiplanar stuff under heavy fucking loads, but you need to expose your body to all types of movement. And that's a great balance. Yoga and mobility decreases that internal tension that gets built up when you do resistance training. When you're doing resistance training, there's external resistance, there's force. Your body has to create tension inside the muscles greater than that external force so your body can overcome that force and lift the weight. That's how the body works. And that internal tension a lot of times stays after you are done lifting. Those muscles get tight, they get balled up, they get knotted up. And you've seen people that are really stiff and just kind of fucking stiff as shit. Their muscles are really tight and hard and they're fucking all locked up. They can't move. They're at high risk for an injury, for something popping, for something tearing. They have muscular imbalances. They're internally rotated. If you want to create a great sculpture, you want to cover your bases. You don't have to go running around, flipping tires and doing random shit. And the reason why I group all that stuff, and I'm not here on this episode knocking CrossFit or general group exercise classes, but you cannot deny that 99.9% of all those things are just random shit grouped together that are challenging. And big surprise, roofing in Florida is challenging. It's exhausting. Doesn't mean it's going to get me a physique. Okay? Flipping a tire is tiring. Tiring. It's exhausting. I'm going to be sweating. I'm going to be dripping. Am I going to be building muscle? Am I going to be what am I getting better at? I'm getting better at flipping a fucking tire. You have to match what you're trying to accomplish by what you're doing. So if you want to get better at flipping a tire, great. If you want to get muscular endurance, okay, it will do that too. But what aspect of your programming is that part of? It's just building general fitness. I mean, what does that even mean? That's the thing. What does we use these phrases that don't mean anything. It means one thing to the person saying it, but then to someone else doesn't mean anything. General fitness. I mean, it's great to be able to do things. It's great to be able to do things. Okay? Most people should not be doing most things. Most people should not be doing most things. Most people need fucking cleanup. They need basics. They need to fix the damage before they start fucking flipping shit and climbing up ropes and doing all this stuff. They're jacked up and they need to repair. However, people are getting involved with this shit because it's entertaining. They end up getting hurt. They fall out of it and they don't get progress. They actually make their problems worse. And it's great to do something. It's great to do things. And look, if you're entertained by it, by all means, it makes it a little bit better. However, it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing, and is that actually going to get you where you want to go? If you do these random workouts, Are you going to have fun? Maybe, if you're into that shit. Are you going to be around cool people? Sure. I mean, there's cool people everywhere. But is that going to get you where you want to go? And let's be honest, most people that lift weights, most people that do CrossFit, most people that do any kind of exercise, you ready? Most people, the vast majority, you could even say 99.9, fucking pretty much everyone that does any kind of exercise, I don't care what it is, you want to look better. What do you think weight loss is? I'm doing it for my health. Yeah, and you want to fucking look better. You want to look better. I don't know anyone, I'm going to CrossFit because I just want to be a better athlete. I don't care how I look. Bull fucking shit, you don't. You liar. You're lying. You want to look better, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's good for your health. Weight loss is good for your health too, but you want to look better. You want to feel better about yourself. And of course, that's subjective, looking better, but most people want to look better no matter what it is. You do Zumba, you want to look better. You do Pilates, you want to look better. You do yoga, you want to look better. And of course, there are other benefits too. It's not the only thing. So looking better, having a better physique, what does that mean? That is the question we should be discussing. What does looking better mean to you? Okay? And for most people, for human beings, we're talking evolution, it's having proportion. It's having proportion with your body. Okay? It's being functional, being able to move, being able to do different things. It's having proportions in the body. No one, I mean, you don't have to be a professional bodybuilding judge to look at someone and be like, that person looks weird because they have skinny legs. They're imbalanced. Even people that have massive legs and then are tiny upper body, it'll be like, you look imbalanced. People know. You can see when someone has bad posture. Even those of you that aren't physical therapists or you're not kinesiologists, you look at someone and if they look all slouched and hunched over, you can tell. As a human being, you can tell when someone looks sickly, when they look healthy, when they look balanced, when they look powerful, when they're standing up, shoulders back, when they look confident. This is built into our DNA. We can sense that. We can sense confidence. It's that sixth sense type thing. Like you can tell when someone, and people are losing that. You're missing the point. And I'm not saying you have to do a type of bodybuilding split or bodybuilding type routine, but every time I pull myself away from that in the sense where I'm thinking, okay, maybe I don't want to fucking bulk anymore. Maybe I don't want to train like that anymore. I go to the gym and it's like, that's what gets the results. That's what gets you stronger. And that's what gets you looking the way. I mean, for me, it gets me looking the way I want to look. It gets me feeling the way that I want to feel. It gets me that pump. And then when I do my yoga, it gives me my mobility. It gives me a range of motion. It gives me my recovery. And that's just for me, but I want to share this with you. And it's fine if you want to do those group exercises. It's fine if you want to do the random exercises thrown together. But it's important to understand that it's great to call things functional training. But what does that mean? It's a functional movement. Tell me what that is. Define what a functional fucking movement is, especially now. Social media just blurs all of this. Is a functional movement hitting a tire with a sledgehammer? Is that a functional movement? Is it a functional movement to flip a tire? Look, I think it's cool if you flip a tire. If you're flipping a tire 30 times, you got some fucking, I mean, what are you preparing for? That's what, a tire apocalypse when there's just tires everywhere and you have to clear the road of tires or your family dies. So why are you training? Like, why are you doing it? I'm serious. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? It's a funny question because you could say, and look, you could say because I like it. Fine. Go for it. That's not what this is about. I'm not criticizing. And I'll never say that my way is the best way. I'm just bringing to your attention that there are things that fucking work. There are things that work. And there are things that are fun. Okay? You have to do the things that will get you results. And just like anything else, if you want to do well on a test, what are you going to have to do? Study. It's going to be fucking boring. You're going to study this shit and then you'll do better. You want to play the piano? You think like, hey, I want to play the piano. I want to play this song. Oh, I heard this amazing fucking, cover on the piano. It makes me want to learn how to play the piano. Guess what you're going to start with? Bing, 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 and it's going to take you 15 fucking years of daily practice to play the song that got you into it in the first place. A lot of it is just boring. Training is boring. Like the actual category of how we calculate our volume is called a repetition. How many repetitions did you do? In other words, how many of the same fucking thing over and over again did you do? And we'll group that as one set of repetitions. And then guess what you're going to do? Another set of repetitions. You're going to do this 12 fucking times in a row. 15 fucking times in a row. You're going to rest a minute and you're going to do it again 15 fucking times in a row. And then you're going to do another set 15 fucking times in a row. And then you're going to do another exercise for a similar body part. And you're going to do that one 15 fucking times in a row. Then you're going to rest and do that again 15 fucking times in a row. And you do it again. And guess what you're going to do next week? The same fucking thing. Guess what you're going to do next week? The same fucking thing. Hey, guess what? What are you doing next week? You busy? Good, because you're doing the same fucking thing. And try doing that for 5 years, for 10 years. Of course, there's differences and there's deloading. And I'm not just saying you just do the same fucking thing all the fucking time. You get my point. It's very repetitive. Why do you think, here we go. How long has fitness been out, right? The classic gym style. Let's say Arnold's days, right? 40s, 50s, 60s, 30s. Okay, let's say 40. So let's say 70 years. Real bodybuilding started to really sprout. The Olympia competitions, Mr. America, the 40s and 50s. So let's say 70 years, 80 years, even call it 100, fine. The human body has not changed in 100 years. It has not changed. It has not fucking changed. It has not fucking changed. The human body has not changed. We have not evolved in 100 years. We have different technology. We have cell phones. We have cars. We have airplanes. We have microwaves. The human body is the same as it was 100 years ago. The absolute fucking same. What did we do 100 years ago? We did bench press, right? Let's say the 50s, 70 years ago, whatever it is, details. Bench press. We did pull-ups, right? You do push-ups. We do squats. You do lunges. You lift things off the ground. We do deadlifts. We do rows. That's it. That's it. Then, you created dumbbells. You did a curl with that. Then you did extensions. We have the deck, right? The basic cables, the basic shit. Go watch Pumping Iron. That's all you fucking need. Okay, the reason why Arnold got, because most people get into this shit from Arnold, from those bodybuilder guys. Yeah, they were taking steroids, but like rudimentary steroids, shit that's nowhere near the stuff they're taking now. But they had basic shit, basic fucking shit. They just did the same things over and over again. That's why they're called repetitions. That's why they're called reps, because it's the same thing over and over again. It's practice. It's practice. It's repetition. It's repetition. Now, when you're doing repetition, and you're training regularly, fine, good for you. But you're doing random shit every fucking day. You're running or you're squatting or you're doing wall balls or you're throwing this or you're flipping a fucking tire. You're doing activity. You're doing physical things. Are you getting better? Maybe. It depends on the programming or whatever structure or whatever overall. Can you get more fit? However you describe that or however you define that. Okay, you can get more fit. I mean, you'll get better at whatever task you put your body into. And this is the truth, right? Let's say all things being equal, people don't, the person that's training or a group of people don't have anything wrong. There's no compensations, no existing injuries, this, that, and the other. If you do tire flips, what are you going to get better at? You're going to get better at doing tire flips. It's not necessarily going to build you muscle, maybe a little bit. Endurance will get you better at the movement of a tire flip. Is that going to get you better at deadlifting? Not really, maybe a little bit, but it's a completely different motion. You squat down, you flip it up. It's completely different than an actual deadlift. Okay. It's a whole different angle. It's a whole different, so it's not necessarily better or worse. It's just completely different. So you'll get better, obviously, if you do deadlifts and bench press and those, you'll get better at those. If you do tire flips or rope climbs, you will get better at those. I think that's pretty obvious. But it doesn't seem that obvious. When I say it, it's like, well, no shit, bro. You do that, you do something, you're going to get better at it. Okay. But then people go and then do all this random shit and then ask, well, how come I've been doing this? I'm doing, like the questions that I get I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to cut, corners for you. But there's no shortcuts, but I'm trying to get you through the mire because there's so much noise out there on social. There's so much bullshit on Instagram. And there's so many things that people are doing for the views. They're doing it for likes. They're doing it because if you do a handstand push-up and then you jump up and then you whip a fucking rope and then you flip a tire 3 times and you do a couple burpees, you might get more views because, wow, that guy is doing a lot of athletic shit. Well, a lot of those guys look skinny and kind of in shape and okay, but most people want to have more muscle tone and have more of a physique oriented. I mean, what's functional? You might say it's more functional. Maybe. What do you do in your life? Most of those things, the human body, we don't do that. We're not in that world. You're not building huts. You're not hunting things for your sustenance. Like, we're different. Our needs are different. I think you should work. I think you should work in different planes of motion. Absolutely. I think you should be balancing out strength training with endurance, with stabilizer muscles, with yoga, with mobility. I think you should have deloading weeks. I think proper progressions for programming, it's not popular enough. People get into these camps where it's like, that's bro lifting. What do you mean? You mean lifting weights? You mean splitting up body parts so you can increase volume so you can get bigger? It's very simple, and you don't need all this variety, I guess is what I'm saying. Fundamentally, you need to know what you want the outcome to be. And unfortunately, a lot of people see these types of fun activities, or they just go and they try a month of CrossFit, they try something, and they try to get the outcome. Like, they try to mold that style. They try to mold whatever workout style that they are entertained by to the goal that they're trying to achieve. And that's not how it works. They're trying to mold, oh, but I like doing jump rope, but I like cycling, but I like this. It's like, what do you want to do? What do you want the outcome to be? If you want to compete in the CrossFit games, then yeah, you better be good at all those things that they're going to have you do, or the best that you can be. Is that the best thing to be healthy? Is that the best thing for a physique? Is that the best thing for fitness? I don't think so. I think it's extremely overloading on the body. I think it's extremely high risk. And I think that people are going to be absolutely fucked and damaged beyond repair in their older age from all that shit. It's just hasn't been seen. It hasn't been around long enough yet. There's a lot of shit that goes on. I mean, the accountant or the business person that plays golf on the weekends will fuck their back up from being sedentary all the time and then trying to crank with a lot of torque playing golf. You have to train for what you're going to do. And that's, again, the conversation. A lot of people want to look a certain way, but then they're doing styles of training that will not help them look that way. So you have to be realistic. And you have to understand that your body needs to be forced into an adaptation, and simple. And doing simple and focusing on simple and being relentless with simple will get you more results. I am telling you, when it came to me in like my bulking, I was trying to get big and get stronger and all this shit. The biggest that I got, the most results that I got was one summer. One summer I think it was the sophomore year in college, the summer after sophomore year. And I was working at I had a little simple job at like a hardware store. And the gym that I was going to train at was a little bit too far out of the way, and it was expensive for like a couple months. It was just out of my budget at the time. So I trained in the basement. My stepfather it was like this fucking hole in the wall, like Blair Witch Project basement, like literal dirt floor. There was a tarp you would pull back to go in there. And it was literally stones. There were massive fucking spiders everywhere. He had his own squat rack that he built out of 2 telephone poles and like drilled holes for pegs. There was a lat pull down with car parts tied under a rope and a pulley. There was this like fucking pull-up bar that was a straight bar suspended on like some ropes, and there's open insulation. I mean, who knows how much cancer I exposed myself to, but it was just like a dungeon, an absolute dungeon. And there wasn't a lot of stuff. There wasn't a lot of space. I mean, we're talking like the equipment down there was stuff you can't even buy. There were York plates, York barbell plates, like those big, thick fucking ones, like 100-pound plates that you can't even find. Like, I mean, legit dumbbells that are rounded on the edges, like those ones you see in the old, 20s and stuff like that. So this stuff my stepfather had for decades, right? And that one summer, I would go down, I would wear literally like a gray sweatpants and gray sweatshirt because I would literally get dirty, and I put on like work boots to go down there and train. I said, you know what? I am going to do the basics this summer. I'm going to squat. I'm going to bench. I am going to row. I am going to press, deadlift. I'm just going to do this barbell fucking pull-ups. I am just going to slam the fucking basics. And that is the most results I've ever seen in a time frame. I just focused on the basics. I ate big and I trained basic, and that's personal fucking experience, but that's how the body adapts. If you give the body a choice, it's not going to adapt. I'll repeat that again. Getting the human body to adapt is like forcing it into the corner, forcing a cat into the corner. Okay? You need to make the cat jump on your face. So if you've ever like gone after a cat or like, oh, hi, kitty, kitty, you see a cat in the parking lot, they fucking run. They're gone. The cat's gone. Fuck you. Cat's not going to stick around. But you back a cat up into the corner, it's going to arch its back, trying to make itself look bigger. Like, don't fucking come here, bro. Don't come here. It'll run past you. If it can, it'll run through your legs. It'll get around you. If it has no other option, it's going to arch and, try to make itself look dangerous. And if it has to, it'll jump on your fucking face because it has no other option. You need to give your body no other alternative. You need to give your body no other option. There's no other way out. It has to grow. It has to get better. And I think you need to balance that out with yoga and mobility, but I encourage you to think simpler. Train your planes of motion. Make sure you are adept. Make sure you can move. Make sure you can bend. That's where the yoga, that's where the mobility comes into play. But when it comes to building muscle, don't fucking get romantic about all this entertaining, fancy shit. It's cool to dabble maybe during a deloading week, fuck around with some different movements, but your regular training should be specifically for the shit that you need to do. If you want to build muscle, and I think most people want to build muscle, you want to build muscle, then guess what? Welcome to Basic Town, because you are going to do the same shit over and over again. Over and fucking over again for years. And you're going to get amazing results if you're relentless with it and you keep on pushing yourself. Because even with the same movements, the human body can only do so much. It can only press in so many different fucking ways. You don't need bands from the sides and then dumbbells and then alternating and all this crazy shit. That is just people trying to create different things like, hey, let's try this, let's try this. It's negligible, the benefits. One arm at a time. Okay, cool. Yeah, you might get sore. It's challenging. I mean, it's just amazing. People have been getting massive and building tons of fucking muscle and getting tons of results for decades. And then all of a sudden now, social media pops up, social fucking media. Now you got Instagram and Facebook and everyone's like, but what about this? But what about this alternating things? What about calisthenics and all this stuff? What about all these different options? What about this style of training? What about HIIT? What about LIV? What about this? What about that? Only because of information. There's too much information. And it doesn't mean that some of those things don't work, but people are getting clouded up from all this fucking shit. And guess what? Now when you have all these different fancy things and things that get views and, Pilates, you got Pilates and boxing, and then you have all these other workout studios and everyone's got a boot camp and all this shit. However, it's like the ancient Egyptian ruins that fucking still stand to this day. Guess what gets lost in the shuffle? The fucking bench press, right? The row, like a fucking barbell fucking row. A barbell fucking row. A squat. A real fucking heavy lunge. Not like pussy, like fucking lunges. Real heavy, like hip bridges and stuff. Some fucking weighted pull-ups. Some heavy negatives. Like just pull some shit. That's what gets lost. Curls, you want to get bigger arms? Then fucking curl more. That's how you get bigger arms, not by doing cable curls, lying down on your back like a fucking jabroni. It's about getting more out of what you're already doing. And there's so many ways to mix up those basic exercises. You don't need to grab a different type of equipment. You don't need to use bands over a bar or a dumbbell over a bar. Stay with the same exercise. Do some more isometrics, do some negatives, do some pulse repetitions. You can get 1,000 different variables or variations from the same exercise without even changing the equipment. Just change how you're doing the rep. Keep more time under tension. I mean, it's just amazing what you can get from keeping it simple. Allow yoga to get you all the fancy shit. I'm telling you, allow yoga to hit all those tiny stabilizers. You don't believe me? You've never practiced yoga. And I'm not talking about you took a fucking yoga class at LA Fitness. I'm saying you've never practiced yoga and gone to a real yoga studio with a real yoga instructor that really challenged you. And you never did that for weeks and weeks and weeks and got really into that practice. You've never practiced yoga. Taking a yoga class is completely different than practicing yoga and fully integrating it into your life and your training. You will get all those different ranges of motion. You will get all those smaller muscles, those stabilizers. You'll get all that shit that every other fucking flopping around group, you're missing the point. You build muscle. You carve it out. You teach it to move. That's the integration. That's the integration. You get the overload and the volume from breaking up and splitting up body parts and creating that load. You get the planes of motion by doing deloading weeks and stabilization training there, as well as yoga and mobility. You meditate to help fucking balance physical and mental. I mean, you'll get all that. You just have to actually be okay with repetition. And if you want it to be entertaining, I get it. I get it. I understand that you might want your fitness to be entertaining. Why not? You're used to Netflix and swiping and being stimulated all the time. I understand you want it to be fun. Well, a lot of things that get you results are not going to be fun because they're not supposed to be fun. They get results. A plus B equals C, not because A and B, when you add them together, it's fun and entertaining. It's because A plus B equals C. And if you want C, guess what you're putting together? A and fucking B. And it's very, very simple. You're going to have to do things that you don't want to do. And if you don't want to do them, then are you okay with forfeiting what you wanted? Or did you really want it? Because if you want the end result, then it really doesn't matter what you're adding together. If it's A or B or fucking X or Y, if you want the result, you're willing to do whatever it takes. And if that means fucking do some reps and be consistent relentlessly, then that's what it means. And most people aren't willing to do that. Why? Because it's work. It's called a workout. It's called a workout. Training, effort, repetitions, volume, consistency, discipline. It's the same shit forever. Doesn't sound romantic. Doesn't have to. I don't give a fuck if you like the sound of it. I know because I've done it. I know because I do it. You ask any bodybuilder, okay, they love what they do. They're passionate about it. It's that they do the same shit all the fucking time. They do the same shit all the fucking time. How do you think someone gets to be an amazing football player or basketball player? They're fucking playing that sport constantly. And they're training to help them play the sport that they play constantly. You want to get better at playing the piano or guitar, you're going to play it constantly, over and over again, practicing the same shit, the same moves, the same finger positions, the same this, same thing with exercise. However, when it comes to physically training the body, all of a sudden there's like 1,000 different ways to do it. You do this and you do that, then you jump there. How many rest periods? How long are you resting? How this? How many? Why are there so many different? Why are you complicating all the different things? Yeah, okay. There are a lot of different things. It's like creating a number combination. I mean, how many different combinations of digits could you get with 10 placeholders? Like millions, like 1 million different combinations. So what? So what? So what? You have a lot of different combinations. So what? All right. There are a lot of variations. Good. I get it. There are a lot of different ways you can do things. Okay. So why don't you just do something that has been proven to work? Why don't you do things that works? Oh, it's not fun. It's not, So? It's not fun. It doesn't have to be fun. And this is just to wake some of you up that are stuck. If you're already doing what you're doing, you're enjoying what you're doing, you're happy with where you are, totally fine. Like, I'm fine. If you want to do CrossFit, you want to do flipping tires, I'm not knocking it for any other reason. I mean, it's challenging, it's exhausting. Some people just like to do different things. Cool. But, you know, if you want what 99.9% of people want, they want to be stronger, they want to have a good physique, you want to be healthier. It's lifting weights, it's yoga, it's mobility, done. Done. You know, it's not, you don't need to do all this fucking random circuits and random shit. It's like you need to be relentless and be willing to put in that fucking kind of consistent effort over the course of years. Years. Can you see a lot of progress in 30 days? It's subjective. Sure. You can feel like a brand new person in 30 days, I'm sure. 90 days? Sure. A year? Sure. But the difference, it never ends though. There is no end point. So that's like assuming, hey, if I do this, I'm going to get amazing results. I'm going to get what I want. That doesn't end. You're never getting to that goal because in 60 days or 100 days or 2 years, I mean, you're not punching out. It's not like, yeah, I'm done work. I'm done training. I'm done now. I'm going to die. Bye. It's going to be another year and another year and another year. Like, you're always going to be working hard, either maintaining, developing, changing. So why does it have to be the most stimulating, entertaining thing in the world? Most people just don't like doing, you don't like doing something that you don't like to do. Oh, poor baby. Then go do random shit and feel free to drop your questions, you know, in those posts asking me for help when the shit that you're doing, the random shit, doesn't work for you. And I'll refer you to this episode. That's what happens. There you go. Aaron, 26 years as a martial artist. I'm a black belt, but it always comes back to the white belt stuff. It always comes back to the basics, because anytime you stray too far, you're like, fuck, I got to go back. For me too, everyone, I've been battling with like, okay, maybe I should back off on the frequency or go up the frequency and stop the volume. I've been doing some like total body workouts. And today I'm like, I want to fucking smash some arms. And I went in, I just did a focus workout and I just felt alive. I feel great. I mean, there's still program design. You still don't want to go hard all the time. There's still times to do total body workouts, and everything else we talk about is still on track. But I think you got the point of what I'm trying to tell you here. You know, your goals have to match what you're doing, and it doesn't have to be entertaining, and it has to be repetitive. It needs to be. It needs to be. And you have to cut down on the noise. You have to put that filter up, because most of it's just bullshit. Most of it's just bullshit. Most of the stuff out there is just fucking bullshit. It's bullshit because it gets views. The exciting shit and all the handstands and these fucking like acrobatics, it gets views on social. That's why. It's not the best way to get in shape. You don't have to fucking try to mimic that and walk on your hands and shit. Why? Why are you doing handstand walking? What's the point of that? What is the point of that? You have feet for a reason. Otherwise, you would walk on your hands naturally. Like, why would you do that? Nothing wrong with it. Okay. But then you have a lot of people trying to do that and trying to do handstand walks like it's a fucking goal, and they end up tearing the rotator cuff. I wonder why. It's because you have legs that are supposed to do that. That's what the legs are for. I mean, you can progress to that, but I mean, it's like those people just tend to think about fitness wrong. It's not supposed to be fancy. And it really comes down to what kind of results you want. What do you truly want to get out of it? And I guess the simplest way to say this is, the more results that you want and the more dedicated, like the more that you want out of it. If you want to build like a physique, like you want to build a lot of muscle, like you want to get, build out like a full physique like mine or better, like you want to take it that point, then it's going to be even more basic. If you want to just say, hey, I want to build, like, I think this is the hack, or this is the way to think about it. If you want, hey, I want to build some muscle, but I don't really totally care about like how I look. I don't need 6-pack abs. I don't need this. I just want to have some fun, get some exercise. I'll dabble with some yoga. Then maybe a CrossFit studio and doing some, random shit and this. And okay, cool. I want to have some fun. I want to move. I want to have like some community in person. that can be fine. But if you want to excel in anything, it's going to be a lot of the same, and it's going to be obsessively a lot of the same. If you want to take any kind of performance or any kind of skill or any type of physique to that nth level, it has to be more basic, more simple. You have to simplify it and then maximize that simplicity as far as you can. Repetitive tire flipping. Yeah. What's your opinion of the cheat day genre on YouTube? I don't know what that is. What do you mean a genre? A cheat day genre? Is that like a category on YouTube? They're all just trying to sell you shit and take your money. Well, look, it's easier to sell someone. Why do you think you see, 6-week shred or 8-week challenge or 30-day challenge and all this random stuff? Because it looks fun. But I'll tell you, random shit gets boring after a while. And do you know what actually gets you the most bored? When you're going and doing random shit and you're not getting the results that you want physically, you're going to be like, fuck this. If you don't get results, it doesn't matter how entertaining it is at the beginning, that's going to get old real quick. And random shit doesn't help you excel at any one area. You're just going to get fatigued, just going to beat you up physically, and you may or may not be recovering properly, and you may or may not be getting the proper overload on specific body parts. And how many people need to be these amazing athletes? Like when you're a house mom, you're a housewife, or you fucking work in an office, and you don't need to be a freaking, you don't need to train like a fucking Spartan warrior. You're not one. Train like an athlete because you are one. No, you're not. You're not an athlete. You're a fucking human being in society, and you're not an athlete. You need to train your body properly. First off, you need to fix all the problems that you've created by being an immobile fucking statue for 30 years before you go running around or jumping around like an asshole. And you need to start with the basics. Shocker. We just talked about that for a while. So you can have room for your entertainment. You just need to be aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. If you're doing something to be entertained, then go do it. As long as you know that it's entertaining and that it might not be getting you those results. And if you're happy with that, then you're happy with that. And that's fine. It's your life and you're able to do whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you that swimming, you shouldn't be swimming. I'm not here to tell you that you shouldn't be cycling, that you shouldn't be doing CrossFit. You could do whatever you want, and I'm sure you will. I just want you to make sure that your goals and your perception is actually going to match what you're actually doing, because the more results you want, it's usually the most relentless fucking basic approach, even harder and longer than you ever anticipated. And that's why most people, why is this still such an industry? Why is the fitness industry still an industry? It's because the vast majority of people aren't happy with where they are. And those that are where they are, they're still trying to, because life doesn't end. You're always like, for me, I've been doing it for 20 years, right? So where do I go? Well, I'm still doing what I'm doing, and then I'm going through different, it never ends. So like there's always, no one's getting the results that they want. They are, but they're not. And that's going to change. You're going to get older. You're going to have to change your approach. Like it never, ever ends. It never ends. But there's a lot of people just running around doing shit that are going to be disappointed. And I hope to mitigate some of that. Because otherwise you're just going to waste a lot of time. And a lot of people get injured because they don't have all these different aspects covered. 40-pound weighted vest uphill hiking. Well, like stuff like that, I guess, right? That's challenging. That's not easy. But is that going to give you Achilles tendonitis? Is that like an effective use? Like why? I don't know if there was like another part to that conversation, but yeah. And again, it doesn't mean, look, that stuff is hard. If I put a 40-pound vest on and I hiked, I'd be fucking exhausted. I'd be this. But why would I do that? I don't know. Why would I do that? That's what it comes down to. Why would I do that? If you do a lot, let's say you do a lot of hiking, I mean, it depends on what your body is going to adapt to what you're exposing it to. So it depends on what your goal is or what you're doing. And some professions, some sports, and some activities, yeah, you'll train differently than I do. You'll train, but most people are doing the stuff that I'm talking about now. Unless you have specific needs, then you don't need to do. I mean, but if you have specific needs, you should be doing specific things, and you should be repetitive, and you should be focusing on that. 40-pound weighted vest uphill hiking. Oh, the housewife, you mean? Yeah, right? I want to purchase your program. Just worried because I do not like meat. Still work for me, you think? My program, Swolenormous X, is not like a diet plan. I mean, you go through the elimination process like anyone else. You can eat whatever you want. You could be a vegan. You could be vegetarian. You don't have to eat meat. If you did, it'd be 100% grass-fed. You're not eating like processed fucking meat. So that could be why you don't like meat to begin with, because you might be eating low-quality meat. But you're certainly not required. Nutrition is very individualized. So you will not get a eat this at this time, have 1 cup of this, have this. I don't do that. No one should be fucking doing that. So many trainers, so many things give out fucking, you shouldn't. I hate when people give out fucking meal plans. It's so dangerous. It's so fucking dangerous. I don't know why people are doing that. It's so reckless and stupid and egotistical to think you know what someone else fucking needs in their diet. You have to be interested enough to figure out what foods and to pay attention to your body, but you're not required to eat any specific food. It's the education and it's the process of figuring out how your body responds to those to various foods. So, to answer your question, I went off a little bit on a tangent there, but that's to answer your question. You're welcome. And there's tons of, I mean, of course, there's tons of recipes and we have a lot of stuff on the site. And of course, everyone's sharing what foods they're eating, sharing meal ideas. So like if you join, for example, then you had like some specific questions like, hey, I don't eat meat. Do you guys have any good recipes for fish or what, blah, blah, blah. Then we have that discussion and it's in the community in the private Facebook group and stuff like that. So yeah, everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. Just because I eat meat doesn't mean I'm a vegan hater. And just because I've done content on vegans, look, everyone has their own reasoning, so I don't hate anyone. Even if it comes down to stuff like religion, as long as you try not to try to push your ideology on me, whatever it is, it's like, get the fuck out of my face. I hate when people try to convert other people. Do your thing, it's fine. Just don't try to push it on me as if you know what the fuck's going on. So, to each their own. How late am I? You're late. Yeah, you're like an hour in, just an hour late. We're just finishing up. John, ultimate boredom. People walking around the gym aimlessly wondering what sounds great to them to do next. No plan, no foundation. Agreed. Well, fam, this was a great episode. A little bit of a rant, a little bit of a rage, but I will reiterate for those of you that might have caught like the tail end or do not get this twisted. I am not saying that you cannot do group exercise classes. I am not saying that you cannot flip a tire. I am not saying that you cannot do random type exercise and total body training. That's not what I'm saying at all. I am just saying, like, if you want exceptional results and you want to up your game, you want phenomenal results, you want a physique, you want all these things, it usually comes down to going super hard, super patient, long-term with the basics. And the basics work. I can tell you that. It always comes down to the basic push, pull, squat, like the basics. There's a lot of fancy shit out there. There are a lot of variations. You're never going to do all of them. You're never going to have all of them in your programming. You're never going to ever need to do every single type of shoulder exercise. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of different types of equipment and different ways you can pull and hold and this. So even within bodybuilding itself, even within CrossFit itself, there's so many different variations. You're never going to do all of it. You're never going to have every combination. So what do you want? And then how about we focus on what fucking does work and just put your effort into that and fucking go ham. What does work? What does work? Lifting fucking weights works. Doing yoga fucking works. So why don't we do that? Why don't we do that and make amazing gains? Why don't we build muscle, build a physique? Why don't we improve our mobility? Fix those compensations, those imbalances. Why don't we train in different planes of motion with yoga, with stabilization training, with some light weights in our deloading weeks, and then progress back up into heavier strength training? Why don't we just keep it the fucking simple? Keep some simple shit. That's where most people need to be paying attention to. Everyone has their own individual needs, but everyone listening to this can take something away from it. Whatever you're doing, let's refocus. It's Monday. Let's take this time to refocus, to really look at what we're doing. Are we really doing the most important shit hard enough to warrant like the outcome that we're trying to achieve? Are we really doing it properly enough? Are we getting fancy? Are we fucking getting fancy with shit? Are we really getting our sleep knocked down? Are we really getting our nutrition on point? Are we really doing our basic strength training properly enough? Are we really practicing yoga? Are we just saying we are? Or are we just dabbling? Are we just stretching a little bit? Like, what are we actually doing? And let's focus on the fucking basics and let's double down on that shit. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 1067 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. I'll see you tomorrow for 1068. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.